father-in-law 8 times a night. My whole body is shaking. Hi, everyone. I am Dudu. I used to be a student in a dance academy. As you know, students who study dance usually have good figures. Plus my looks, I was hailed as the school goddess in school. But in fact, I look quite pure on the surface, but in my heart, I have always been full of yearning for love and romantic relationships between men and women. My family situation is a bit special. My parents divorced when I was young. In my first 28 years of life, most of the time, no one cared about me. Maybe because of this, I learned about the things between men and women from some channels earlier than other children, but at that time, I was just confused. After entering college, I was so eager to have a sweet love, so I couldn't wait to find a boyfriend for myself. My boyfriend, although not as strong and exaggerated as the male protagonists in the movies, is sunny and handsome, and he understands me very well. The days with him are really full of sweetness and happiness. Once he went out to participate in a competition and was gone for a week. During this week, I missed him so much. I thought to myself that he must be as depressed as me. So when he got off the plane, I took him undrawn to an unfinished building near the school. Don't get the wrong idea, we just wanted to play some interesting role-playing in that special place. That time we played the plot of the police catching the thief. I played the thief and he played the police. It was very interesting. Once, after we were intimate, I leaned in his arms and panted, and jokingly asked him, "You are so good at making girls happy. Have you dated many people before?" He smiled and said, "How can it be possible? You are the only one." I don't believe it. How can a novice be so good? As a result, what he said next surprised me. He said, "You are my only girlfriend, but I have a good teacher, my father." This was the first time he mentioned his father to me after we got together. He said that his father's ideas in this regard were relatively open. When he was a child, his father often brought different female friends home, so he knew about things between men and women at a very young age. He saw a lot and naturally understood a lot. He also told me that his father's name was Jiboda and that his father was nicknamed Dab Ao in the circle because he was more prominent in some aspects. When I heard this, my face turned red all of a sudden, and I couldn't help but think about it in my heart. However, soon I thought, how could I think like this? That's my boyfriend's father. Later, one day, my boyfriend called me and said that he was hungry at home and asked me if I wanted to go to his house to play, and said that he had a lot of fun ideas. When I heard it, I immediately agreed, hung up the phone, and happily changed into my favorite small sling and black hip skirt, and took a taxi to his house. When I got to his house, I knocked on the door, and it turned out to be his father, Jiboda, who opened the door. I was stunned at the time. My eyes were wide open. His father was so handsome, wearing a well-fitting suit, wearing a watch on his wrist that looked very expensive, exuding the charm of a mature man. He asked me who I was, and I didn't know what was going on. I said, I am Xiao Qing's friend. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I lied. He seemed to see through my lie at once, but he didn't expose me. He politely let me in and said that my boyfriend was called out by his friends and would be back soon. Then he said he had something urgent to do, so he went upstairs first. I stayed in the room, and after a while, I heard a strange sound from the second floor. Curious, I quietly went to the second floor and found that the door of a bedroom was ajar. I looked through the crack in the door. Oh my God, the scene I saw made me very embarrassed. There was a woman inside kneeling on a yoga ball, and Jiboda was standing behind her, doing something very private. My face turned red all of a sudden, and my body also had some strange reactions unconsciously. I bit my lips and stood there for 40 minutes, not knowing whether to stand or walk. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore, so I ran away, thinking that this was too outrageous. Later, my boyfriend and I got along better and better, and it was time to talk about marriage. The wedding was lively. But on the wedding night, something happened that I will never forget in my life. That night, after all the relatives and friends left, I was waiting happily to start our new life with my husband. As a result, my husband suddenly told me that their family had a strange custom. On the wedding night, the father-in-law had to complete some rituals for his son, saying that it was a test for the new daughter-in-law. I was stunned at the time. What era is this? And there is still such a weird custom. I was unwilling in my heart, but my husband said that this was passed down in their family and the rules could not be broken. The father-in-law came in, and I was scared and embarrassed at the time. As soon as my father-in-law came in, he said that this was a custom and asked me to cooperate. I told him that this was too absurd and it was against ethics, so morality. But he didn't listen at all and said that this was to make me better integrate into their family. I was so scared that I stepped back and shook my head desperately, but he pressed on. I instantly collapsed into mud, trembling all over, shaking beyond recognition. The bone-deep excitement rushed straight into my brain, and my last line of defense was defeated. The next morning, I said loudly to my father-in-law, "This bad habit should not exist long ago. This is disrespectful to women and illegal. I am an independent person, not a tool for your family to follow old customs." My father-in-law was stunned by my yelling. I took the opportunity to run out quickly, called my husband, and told him everything. At this time, my husband also realized that this custom was too much. He ran over and had a big fight with my father-in-law, saying that we can't ruin our lives because of this absurd custom. After this incident, I deeply realized that there are still many such backward and disrespectful habits in life. Each of us should stand up bravely, resist these unreasonable things, and use our actions to promote social progress so that everyone can live in an equal and respectful environment. Everyone, do you think this is the truth? Well, today's video ends here. Welcome to leave a message to discuss. We will talk again next time. Bye.